Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another 5 minute video. There's been a bit of time that has passed since the last video, but let us pick up right where we left off from the last one. In the last video, we were speaking about Genesis, just a quick summary about the book. So today, we'll be looking at the book of Exodus. We'll just give an overall summary, and you can use this when studying the book. It'll give you an overview of the general idea of the book so that when you read, it is much easier to understand. So, when we came from the book of Genesis, the children of Israel, or the Israelites, had just moved up to Egypt, and that was because there was a famine in the land. And then we have how Joseph ended up being the second in charge behind Pharaoh. So all of that is the background leading towards the Exodus. So this book is continuing from where Genesis stopped. And basically, when you look at Exodus, you can think of redemption. This is how God gave the Israelites freedom from the slavery to the Egyptians. And it's interesting also to note that when the Israelites first came to Egypt, that is when Joseph brought his parents, his whole family to Egypt, and that is how they came to Egypt. They were welcomed. The Egyptians did not have any issue with them. But now we see them being enslaved. And this is something that God had already prophesied. If you would look at Genesis chapter 15, God tells Abraham that his descendants will be enslaved. So in Exodus, right from the start of the book, the very first chapter, it gives us how and why they were enslaved. A new Pharaoh came up who was afraid of the Israelites because they were increasing in number. Remember when they came, there were about 75 people, but now they were increasing in number, and the Egyptians now had a fear of them, so they enslaved them. And in this enslavery, they make life difficult for them. So they cry out to God, and then God hears their cry and sends Moses to free the people. So that's the general gist of Exodus. God saving or redeeming the Israelites, freeing them. So you can think of redemption or freedom when you look at the book of Exodus. That can be the general idea, the general theme of the book. Now this book takes us from the time they get enslaved to the freedom. We go through the 10 plagues as well. I'm sure a lot of people know the 10 plagues because of Pharaoh's, he was being quite stubborn. The Red Sea being parted. And then we go all the way up to Mount Sinai. So when the book ends, they're still at Mount Sinai, and they are now receiving the law from God. God is now giving them a law that will govern the nation. So from freedom, and then he gives them a law to govern them, because if you think about it, they had been living among the Egyptians, and in that chapter 15 you'll find it says about 400 years. So they definitely would have learned some of the ways of the Egyptians. I'm sure their thinking would be similar to theirs in terms of religion, and how to behave themselves. They would generally use what they've learned. So God gives them a new, better way. But this is not up till we get into Leviticus proper, but it does start in Exodus. So the book of Exodus, from Egypt to Sinai. Slavery, freedom, or redemption. And I hope that will give you a good starting point when you study the book. I know a lot of people are more familiar with Genesis and Exodus, but this may help you as well as we go into further books into the Bible, and also to see the flow in between these books. So, yeah, definitely enjoy your Bible studies, and I hope you will join me again next time. Thank you.